Hi there, I'm Chris Stovel. I'm a cybersecurity professional at Tech Plus Consulting here in Oakland. And today I'm going to share with you guys some cybersecurity tips. So I'm going to share my screen here. Go ahead and do that. And let me start my PowerPoint. We're going to take a look at some current threats and some simple steps you can take to increase your IT security. So first of all, I like to open these things up with just a comparison. So if we look at how to protect your home, you might have things like an alarm system, neighborhood watch, smoke detectors, CO2 detectors, signage on the lawn, warn people if you're a scary alarm company, window locks, door locks, security cameras, lights, all that sort of thing. For IT security and protecting your business, we're going to have things like antivirus endpoint protection. So if you've seen like Bitdefender or SentinelOne, so two common products we use. Log monitoring, so that's the stuff we do to take a look at your server logs and see what's going on every day. Patching and updating all of your systems. The IT management, password management, email security filtering, phishing simulations. Firewalls are super important with all of the intrusion prevention, IDS, and all the custom rules we write that block out, countries such as Russia and China and other higher risk areas that you likely don't do business with. And then, of course, today, cybersecurity awareness training. So I figured first, let's take a look at some cybersecurity stats. United States, it's the FBI that tracks this stuff through their IC3 division. And I want to, start out by saying that the majority of cyber crimes are not reported. There's only about a 1% arrest rate of the incidents reported, so it can be a little bit bleak. So this is from the FBI's website. This is their 2019 report that came out not too long ago. So I should start out and say that the IC3's own estimates are that the numbers we see here are only 10 to 12% of the total incidents in the United States. And this doesn't include global incidents at all. So if we take a look, complaints in 2015, 288,000, and we can see that that is trending up to last year, where we had 467,000 reported crimes and 3.5 billion in losses last year that, again, was reported. And again, we're looking only 10, 12% of reporting those. And then if we break that down a little bit further, we can see that phishing is the majority of those victims. Extortion, data breaches, credit card fraud, tech support scams, whole bunch of fun things here. Misrepresentation. So what are cyber criminals doing? So they're hacking into systems to steal data, to install ransomware, to interrupt systems. So that's things like denial of service attacks, where they take down websites or they make your internet stop working and otherwise interrupt your stuff. And then they also pivot to other systems. So they may hack into your system in order to get to one of your clients or one of your vendors. What is ransomware? So ransomware is where criminals break into systems, and what they're looking to do is encrypt all of your data. So basically stop you from accessing your data, and they'll demand a hefty ransom, typically paid in untraceable bitcoins. So this is a couple example messages from WannaCry, which was a huge piece of ransomware, did about $4 billion in losses. Another one there, NotPetya, did about $10 billion. 1.8 billion from 9 companies. That was really super interesting. Another really interesting thing with these ransomwares is the majority of them lie dormant for about 6 months. So what happens is that they end up infecting a lot of backups, and they cause a lot of havoc, because even when you have backups, you can still potentially lose a lot of work. So yeah, that's kind of ransomware for you. Another interesting fact is that a lot of these companies they're businesses. These criminals have gotten really smart, and they'll often provide technical support that's better than your internet provider's technical support in helping you unlock those files. So we work really hard as an IT provider to stop ransomware from happening. We use a variety of different tools, from endpoint management to firewalls, filtering, but user education and training is a really big part of it. So more than 90% of these ransomware attacks and data breaches start with phishing scams. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about phishing today. So what's phishing? How can you stop it? So phishing is where these attackers are sending fraudulent emails, and they're trying to trick you into giving up information. Usually it's things like passwords. So in this example, this is a fake Amazon email. There's actually a couple of cool ways that we can see that this is fake. So right up at the top, you'll notice that the email address is amazoncanada.ca, so not amazon.ca or amazon.com. So they've went ahead and they've registered a fake domain name. So that's super common. The greeting is not personalized. It doesn't show your name. It just says "Dear client." And then that link that they have there, when you actually hover over it, it doesn't go to that link that it's the part that's being displayed. It redirects to another spot. And that's really the best thing you can do to stop these things, is to take a look at the links, put your mouse over them and see where it's going. And if it's going to something that's not that company, that's where we have a huge problem. So this is another example of a Dropbox one. And this one's kind of clever, that when you hover over it, the site goes to, and this example's been blurred out, but it basically goes to a site that looks like Dropbox, ends in .dk/site/dropbox.com. So they've kind of gotten pretty clever there to trick you. The other thing that we see with a lot of these is that a lot of personal information is available online. So when you go into LinkedIn, it's pretty easy to figure out who works for that particular company. So it's from there, what these attackers can do is they can send out a Dropbox file share, and they can impersonate someone else. So they can pretend to be the CEO or the HR manager or someone from customer service, and they can make it look like they're sharing a file, and in fact, it actually is fraudulent. So it's just taking the time to look at those emails and examine them. Ask yourself, is this something like a file that you're expecting? Chances are, if you get sent a payroll file that's going company-wide, that might not be something that your boss would normally send out. This is another example with Netflix. And some of these are really good. They actually look really, they're well put together to trick you. Here's a Bank of America example. So again, in this example, the link to bankofamerica.com to sign in takes you to some other weird random website. And there's a few other things here that give it away. So the email address is from a Comcast address. It's not sent to you. It's sent to undisclosed recipients. And then, like member is not capitalized. And some of the text and things is a little wonky. So that's a really huge giveaway. If an email doesn't look quite right, chances are it's a phishing attempt. And of course, these phishing attempts, they lead to fake login pages, and often the pages look very, very similar. So in this case, this is a fake one and the authentic one. You'll notice in the Google one, what it does is it asks you to enter your email and then click next, and then put the password in the second page. Whereas the first one, it's slightly different. But yeah, again, pretty similar. Way, of course, to find this out is if you look at the top of that URL page, if it doesn't show google.com, it's not really signing you into Google. And of course, another really safe thing you can do is instead of clicking that link in the email, instead just open up your web browser and then browse to that website. So browse to Google and then sign on directly. So ignore the links, take a little extra time and open those websites. So if you get an email from Dropbox, go ahead and just navigate to dropbox.com and sign in as opposed to following that link. And these phishing things can also get sent by text message too. That's super common. So in this case, this is a fake Verizon scam where you get texted a thing asking you to update your account. It leads you to a fake page that is not verizon.com. And then they capture your credentials and steal your information. So how to stop phishing? Hover over the links, examine them really closely. Pay close attention to who the sender is, the grammar, the personalization of the email, or I should really say the lack of personalization. And then go to the website directly instead of clicking links. And if you're ever unsure, get in touch with us. Just forward it to your IT people, success@techplusconsulting.com, and we'll investigate, open up a ticket, we'll reply back, let you know if it's safe or if it's not. And if you get these phishing, if you get a phishing kind of attack, let us know immediately. If you see something suspicious, let us know, let your coworkers know. That's really a big way that this stuff gets prevented. So how do we prevent phishing? Well, practice makes perfect. So for the clients that are enrolled in our cybersecurity plans, what we like to do is send simulated phishing emails out. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to trick you. We're trying to get you to fall for those. Hopefully you won't. If you do, you'll get an education. You'll get basically taken to a website that'll explain what you did wrong. And really, practice just makes perfect. That's the industry standard. To stop these things is just keep getting tested. And we typically, when we do this with clients, they start out around 50-60% of people falling for them, and after a year, it drops to 2 to 5%. And our goal is obviously 0, as it just takes one person to click one link for an account to be compromised. And then, of course, the other tools that we use, things like Mimecast or other email filtering software, ideally we want to actually block all of these messages before they even get to you. And then, of course, we have firewalls in place so that if you do click on those fraudulent websites, hopefully we can prevent those from loading. Anyway, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for joining. And feel free to share this. Have a great day.